Hey YouTube, Mickey. Alright, just wanted to talk about that series alone and my thoughts on it. I absolutely love the show, to be honest. It's really good. I've watched up to episode 3 so far, and I think it's a great idea in regards to survivalists going out there with 10 items to survive. Obviously it's a very, very tough terrain that they're surviving in, and it's a great show. I can't fault it. I mean, these guys are out by themselves. They're all separated, 5, 7, 10 miles away from each other. No assistance at all. Filming themselves and out in the middle of nowhere trying to survive. Now, for people that have seen it, yeah, you've had people tap out the next day. You've had people tap out 4 days later. I can't begin to imagine how hard it would be to survive out there alone. Yes, you've got 10 items, which is common sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to do shows like that with one item. It's just, not good. If you're surviving there as long as you can, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, I don't know how long the actual winner survived out there yet, obviously. But, you want items with you to cater for the environment. Now you've seen guys tap out early, and I don't bag or I cannot talk bad about anyone on that show. They've had their legit reasons to tap out, and I'm from Australia. I've got no experience with wolves, no experience with cougars, no experience with bears. I don't have the experience of the cold temperatures in Canada, because it doesn't get that cold where I live. It can get cold. It can get to 0 or minus 0 degrees Celsius, but probably not as bad as what it does in Canada. So, the first episode, you saw a guy tap out purely because, in my eyes, he looked like he was dropped off in bear territory. There were bears everywhere. And a bear would freak me the fuck out, to be honest. So I don't blame that guy for tapping out, because he just seemed like he was surrounded by bears. I don't know what defensive items they have with them. I think they carry pepper spray or bear spray, a flare, this and that. But I think if you're being stalked by bears or a bear, that's going to be pretty uncomfortable. Cole Craven, or I think his name's Wayne, he tapped out, I think 4 days into it, because again, the bears were freaking him out. And again, it would have freaked me out too. It would freak anyone out, having bears around you. People can sit on their couch and watch this show and say, oh, but you could have done this, you should have done this, you should have done that. Well, I guess you've got to be in that situation to know exactly how you're feeling and what the dangers are. So if people want to bag the show, go ahead, fine. If people say, oh, you should have done that, then go ahead. But in my eyes, and myself being an outdoorsman, survivalist, shit happens. And, mentally you can just, I guess, feel very uncomfortable and wanting to tap out. I know myself that if I was offered to go on that show, I would definitely do it. But I guess depending what country or where it is and what predatory animal or what the situation is, would distinguish how long I go. But my main concern would be my mental health in regards to missing my family, my kids and my wife. That would be probably the biggest thing for me. Yeah, I could probably go for a few weeks, but after that, I'm pretty sure mentally I'm going to be saying, hey, I want to see my kids. I want to see my wife. Is everything okay at home? That'll be playing my mind all the time. So I give it to these guys that have families and have done it. Obviously, the series is finished. We're just waiting to find out who survived the longest. But yeah, it's just a bit of my thoughts. I think it was Joe. Joe tapped out because he lost his ferro rod or ferrocene rod. Yes, he admitted, big mistake. Yes, should he have put that ferro rod around his neck? Look, I'm not going to bag anyone. Losing a ferro rod is a big deal, especially in that territory, because everything's so wet and you need some sort of igniting source to start a fire. I think it'd be pretty damn impossible to start a friction fire out in that territory, and that's why I'm not really keen on friction fires. I like modernish technology, being a Bic lighter or a ferrocerium rod or box of matches even. Flint and steel, magnifying glass, whatever it may be. I really don't trust a friction fire to work 100% of the time, because it won't, depending on the weather conditions and the terrain. So yeah, for that, I think it was Joe. For Joe to lose the ferro rod was a big mind fuck for him, and obviously, he tapped out, because if you can't have fire, the game's finished. It's done. See you later. And I know that really, I could see on the show, really affected him mentally. His morale, everything was affected by losing that one item. And I guess it teaches all of us a lesson. I generally always wear my ferro rod on my belt, and it's always attached to me. But, I've got to admit, there's been cases where I've been out bush, I've had the ferro rod in my pocket, but sometimes I light the fire, put the ferro rod on the side, and walk away, this and that. And yeah, look, losing a ferro rod or your source of fire can be can happen. So, lesson taught. Joe taught us a lesson. Always wear that friggin' ferro rod on your person, around your neck. Keep it in a pocket that it's going to be secure. I mean, it's a valuable lesson to be learned, and this is what I guess I'm getting to, is that this show is teaching everyone some valuable lessons of what not to do and how to. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll give it to all the blokes on that show. Mitch from Native Survival, he's still on there, obviously. Who knows? Maybe he won it. I don't know yet. I'd love to know who won it, but that's why we've got to watch the show and find out. There's heaps of guys on there that are good survivalists and are doing very well. And I think we need to not sit on our couch and say, oh man, you should have done this. Oh shit, you fucked up. Oh, you should have done that. It's hard to say. You've got to be in that situation. So, I love the show. It's great. It's a good concept. It's not like a Bear Grylls or Dual Survival where you're out there for 3, 4, 5 days. It's like you're out there until the last man standing. And, realistic survival situations is, in my eyes, when I go out bush, I'm always carrying the 10 priorities of survival. That doesn't necessarily mean it's 10 items. It's the 10 priorities. One priority could be multiple items, okay? Example, water can be my GI canteen and cup, plus purification tablets, plus a Sawyer mini water filter, plus a billy can. Those components is water. Yes, there may be 4 components, but that's one priority, water. So, for these guys to take one item and only have 10 items, that's a good test of your survival skills. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the show. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to watch episode 4. And obviously in Australia we don't get it straight away like you guys in America, and I won't say how I'm getting it, but I'm getting it. So hey guys, hope you enjoy my kind of 2 cents on Alone. Cheers.